Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back yet again today with yet another fantasy football video. This is for the 2020 season, actually my first fantasy football video based off of the 2020 season. Now, I know the Super Bowl hasn't even happened yet. I know the season's not fucking over, but we're going to be hard hitters on this channel all off-season long and all summer long. Like, my name is Kid fucking Rock. In this video, I'm going to be doing a 2020 season mock draft in the PPR format. It is a snake draft from the 8th spot in a 12-team PPR league. Now, obviously, the NFL draft has not happened yet. That is a big part of redraft leagues, obviously, because some of those rookies are going to be drafted highly in the fantasy football draft, but obviously we don't have that yet. So this is just going to be based off of the players that are in the pool right now without the rookies. The roster positions of this draft, this is a 1 quarterback league with 2 running backs, 2 wideouts, a tight end, flex, defense, kicker, and 6 bench spots. So without further ado, let's get right into this bitch from the 8th spot. Let's see what the computer does. This is going to be based off upon the Fantasy Pros rankings for this season. It's not based off of ADP yet because not very many people are crazy enough to hop on and do a mock draft a few days before the Super Bowl. So let's get right into this here. FantasyPros.com, not a sponsor of mine. Would happily let them sponsor me though. Let's get right into this. The first pick of the draft is going to be Mr. Ezekiel. Oh, nope. It was Mr. Christian McCaffrey, followed by Ezekiel Elliott, Saquon Barkley, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones. Now, to me, that seems pretty consensus right there, at least with the first 3 picks here. Christian McCaffrey for sure is my number 1 pick next season, without a doubt. Lock it, throw it out the fucking window. Lock the key, throw it out the goddamn window. It doesn't fucking matter. Unless Christian McCaffrey breaks his goddamn leg, I believe even with 1 fucking leg, this man should be the number 1 overall pick. This man is going to be a beast in the 2020 season, so for me, he's my number 1 overall pick. That's who I would have selected at number 1. Number 2, we got Ezekiel Elliott. There may be a bit of concern here. Some people may go Saquon there. Personally, I would go Saquon there, but I think Ezekiel Elliott is obviously worthy of being a guy that you may consider for the 2nd overall pick. Coming in number 3, we have Saquon Barkley, like I said. In number 4, we have the first wide receiver off the board in Michael Thomas of the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, that man has been nasty all year long. The fact is, if Drew Brees is not back, I would be a bit worried about Michael Thomas, but in my humble opinion, I think that Michael Thomas is going to sign, not Michael Thomas, Drew Brees is going to sign back there and play a couple more years. And next up is his teammate, Alvin Kamara, at the 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th pick, the 6th overall pick is Dalvin Cook, and coming in at number 7, we have Aaron Jones. Now here, we have a pick of the litter here at the running back and the wide receiver position and at the quarterback position now and at the tight end position because no tight ends have been selected yet. Obviously, guys, this is a 12-team league, a PPR league. I'm not selecting Lamar Jackson at the 8th overall pick. Now, I know this is a topic of conversation that we're going to hear all summer long. Lamar Jackson was so fucking good last year. How could you not pick him in the first round? He was so unreal. You can win with any quarterback, okay? Not any quarterback, but you can win with a quarterback that you can find off the waiver wire or a guy you can draft later. You're not going to be able to win likely with a bunch of running backs that you found fucking off the waiver wire. That is near impossible. So we're going to draft the best player available right here. And in my opinion, the best player available right now at this slot is Mr. Joe Mixon. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be mad. Nick, why didn't you draft Derrick Henry here? He's the better option. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Derrick Henry had a phenomenal season this year. You can obviously say that his season was amazing. It was. The end of his season was phenomenal. The beginning of it was not so great. And I think that Joe Mixon, I think the Cincinnati Bengals team drafts Joe Burrow. I think this team looks much better. Joe Mixon really started putting it on at the end. And I know that might make no sense because I just dissed Derrick Henry for that. But Joe Mixon wasn't getting as many touches as Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry may wear down. The thing is, Mixon can catch the ball. Derrick Henry really not that much of a pass-catching back. So I'm going to go with Joe Mixon here. I'm going to sip the Kool-Aid again on Joe Mixon in the first round. So we select Joe Mixon here. After we selected Joe Mixon off the board, Devontae Adams goes, followed by DeAndre Hopkins and Julio Jones, a wide receiver run, something you guys are going to be seeing in your draft in August. A lot of people go on these fucking runs where you see one wide receiver go and then you got to hop on board, be like, I need to get my wide receiver. After that, Leonard Fournette comes off the board, followed by Derrick Henry, Chris Godwin, Tyreek Hill, and Odell Beckham Jr. So those two teams here we've noticed, 3 teams we have noticed have went with the double wide receiver strategy, something I would not necessarily advise. Another team went with my personal strategy, a strategy that I like to implement a lot, of the 2 running backs going with Leonard Fournette and Derrick Henry. Now, looking at the players available here, we still have the top tier quarterback here Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes. We have arguably the best 2 tight ends in the game. We have Travis Kelce and George Kittle. And then at the wide receiver position, we got guys like Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Kenny Golladay, DJ Moore. Now, to me here, if I'm going to be blatantly honest with you guys, I'm just going to select the best wide receiver available here. And in my opinion, Mike Evans had a phenomenal year last year. And I think he's going to play just as great this year. He got hurt at the end of the year. Now, I believe they bring back Jameis. I believe they slap him with that franchise tag. They say, give me 30 for 30 again, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. Give me that shit. Mike Evans played great. Chris Godwin played great. And I see no reason why Mike Evans in this Bruce Arians offense with Jameis Winston, I believe that they will put up big numbers yet again. But in my other thoughts, I like Nick Chubb here as well, but I think I'm going to go with Mike Evans. We'll see how that turns off at the end of the draft. Now, obviously, after we went Mike Evans, Nick Chubb comes right off the board, followed by Kenny Golladay, Todd Gurley, Austin Eckler, George Kittle, Josh Jacobs, Travis Kelce. Notice the second round has just come to a close, and 2 tight ends were already taken. Last year, we were seeing Travis Kelce go in the first 2 rounds, and then after that, Zach Ertz and George Kittle. Crazy how George Kittle went before Travis Kelce, in my opinion. I would rather take Travis Kelce there, but that is just me. And then the 3rd round comes out with a big fire pick of Lamar Jackson. Now, I always argue, guys, that don't pick Lamar Jackson in the 1st round. Don't pick the best quarterback in the first 2 rounds. In the 3rd round, I see a bit of value there for Lamar Jackson, but would I pull the trigger? No, but that first team is looking dangerous. They got the best running back, Christian McCaffrey, the best tight end, Travis Kelce, and the best wide receiver. On any given week, this team would blow your asshole out. It is just unbelievable. The next pick here was DJ Moore and then Amari Cooper. Now, I believe Amari Cooper might get stamped with that franchise if that's possible. If not, I think they do try to bring Amari Cooper back. Next pick is Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper was the next pick, guys. Austin Hooper. Now, if we look at the rankings here, let's just try to figure out why the fuck someone would pick Austin Hooper here. It makes no sense. Obviously, this is not how the draft may go in August, but that pick makes no fucking sense to me. Do not pick Austin Hooper in the 3rd round. Don't really pick any tight ends in the fucking 3rd round. They ain't really worth it. Austin Hooper, followed by Keenan Allen Robinson, and then Mr. Mark Andrews, my boy. But at the end of the day, this ADP at the 3rd round is very, very high, in my opinion, for a price to pay for Mr. Mark Andrews. So now, as we are looking here, we already have our 1 running back in Joe Mixon and our 1 running back in my boy, our 1 wide receiver in Mike Evans. So now we're going to look to build some running back depth here. We have already lost a lot of running backs here that I actually like. Have fallen in the top 13 here. I don't like Todd Gurley at all, but, you know, that's for a topic of discussion here. So the best running backs available in my mind here, there is a bit of, this is actually confusing because Le'Veon Bell is ranked at number 18. Last year, if you saw Le'Veon Bell around in the 3rd round, you would have creamed your fucking pants. Your pants, you'd have to buy new goddamn pants, okay? But last year, we saw that Adam Gase really is he's not the running back whisperer. He really didn't do shit with Le'Veon Bell. So that worries me a bit. Le'Veon Bell didn't really look too hot. So I would kind of avoid Le'Veon Bell here. Miles Sanders, I think, could be great. But the fact that Carson Wentz just ain't that good, in my opinion, does hurt him back. Kenyon Drake, if I'm being honest with you here, it's between 2 guys here. It's Kenyon Drake of the Arizona Cardinals, a guy that I think they bring back, a guy that I think dominates next year. They send David Johnson the fuck out of there, ship him to Tampa Bay probably. Or Chris Carson. Chris Carson played phenomenal towards the end of last year. This year. He was playing pretty fucking good, and I think next year in the 2020 draft, he will be great, and his ADP will be higher than this. But if I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to go with the lightning in the bottle pick here of Kenyon Drake. I think that Kenyon Drake puts up a big year next year, or this year, I guess, if you want to talk about it, in Arizona. We saw him put up phenomenal games. I know as a Miami fan, he is a good running back. I know Adam Gase fucked him over. I think that Kenyon Drake will have a big year this year. I think the Arizona Cardinals have a much better year this year, and I'm going to select Kenyon Drake with my 3rd round overall pick selection. Now, after we selected Kenyon Drake, Le'Veon Bell flies off the board, followed by Miles Sanders, Zach Ertz, Chris Carson, Devontae Parker, Mark Andrews, A.J. Brown, and Darren Waller. Notice here, guys, some picks here that are a bit out of the ordinary for me. Devontae Parker, up there very high. Would I pick Devontae Parker there? I'd honestly think about it. He played amazing towards the end of the year, but we don't know who the quarterback's going to be next year. I think it's going to be Ryan Fitzmagic, and in that case, he should be good, but obviously that impacts it. Mark Ingram, a little high here for me. Now, I know he put up a big season. I didn't really believe in him, but at the end of the day, guys, Mark Ingram was scoring a lot of touchdowns. I'm not sure if he's going to be scoring that many touchdowns next year, so I would kind of avoid Mark Ingram. I still just don't believe in him. A.J. Brown, a okay pick here in the 4th round. Darren Waller, obviously a top-tier tight end, but would I bake that pick in the 4th round? No. I like to wait on tight ends as well as quarterbacks, but we're in the 4th round, and Patrick Mahomes is still available. Now, guys, if this was an experiment, I would take Pat Mahomes here, but we're going to check who else is available here at this pick, and because if it's some people that I don't really like, I might just pull the trigger and say fuck it and draft Patrick Mahomes. Now, for the wide receiver position, obviously the website says best available right here is Cortland Sutton, followed by Stephon Diggs, Juju Smith-Schuster, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. Robert Woods is a guy who I believe may end up being traded off of the LA Rams in the offseason. Melvin Gordon for the running back position is the best overall ranked running back right here on Fantasy Pros. Do I think that Melvin Gordon will stay on the Chargers? I'm not too sure. Austin Eckler proved this year or last year that he could be great. Will that happen again? Who knows? Melvin Gordon may come back. He may not come back. Devin Singletary, a great running back. If they don't bring back Frank Gore, I believe that he will be great next year. Kerryon Johnson, a man that I love. A man that I really love, but he's proved to be too injury prone to risk taking in the first couple of rounds here. Marlon Mack kind of getting hurt. James Conner. And James Conner is literally a glass cannon. The definition of a fucking glass cannon. He's a guy who, when he's out there, is going to absolutely butt-fuck a defense. But he will get hurt so easily. That's the glass part. So you know what? We're going to do something a bit unorthodox. A bit off-brand of the Notorious Fantasy Channel. Now, if it's the 4th round here, I honestly think in some leagues, if you're playing with people who are sharp, Pat Mahomes may be available in the 4th round, and if that is possible, you're going to just have to fucking take him, because that is an unreal discount for a guy that could be the quarterback one next year. All right, this year. He could be amazing this year, and I honestly believe he will be, so I like Patrick Mahomes at that pick. Obviously, I typically advise to wait on the quarterback position, but that value is where you're going to be drafting at. The 4th round value on Patrick Mahomes is unreal. A guy that could put up 50 fucking touchdowns in a season. After we picked Patrick Mahomes, Melvin Gordon went followed by a wide receiver run. Cortland Sutton, A.J. Green, Cooper Kupp, Julian Edelman, Juju Smith-Schuster, Stephon Diggs, Devin Singletary, D.J. Chark, T.Y. Hilton, Adam Thielen, Kerryon Johnson, David Montgomery, and Terry McLaurin. So a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's in my bank account. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wide receiver run here. Let me talk about A.J. Green here. I want to give a bit of a dissection here. Will A.J. Green come back next year, or will he get his ass shipped off somewhere else? In my opinion, I actually think that they keep him. I think they want A.J. Green back there with Joe Burrow, money man Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow puts up a great year next season, and I like him here. And I think A.J. Green is going to be good, but I'm not sure I'd pick him in the 4th round, considering that motherfucker gets hurt lacing up the cleats. Now, Juju Smith-Schuster went in the 4th round. What a fall from grace for Juju Smith-Schuster, guys. Put an F in the fucking chat for Juju Smith-Schuster, because that man was a top 1st round pick, or he was a 1st round pick, or an early 2nd round pick. So he's pretty much a 1st round pick. Now going in the 4th round, I think Big Ben comes back healthy. Juju makes a comeback this year. I think his value is going to be great in drafts. A lot of people are not going to really believe and buy back in to Juju Smith-Schuster. But now it is my selection here. Let's look at the running backs as well as the wide receivers still available. Our team currently, up until the 5th round, we have Patrick Mahomes at the quarterback position. We have Joe Mixon and Kenyon Drake as our tandem of running backs. And our wide receiver is Michael Evans. Now, looking here at the wide receiver core, I'm not really loving any of these guys. I'm not really McLovin any of these guys. At the tight end position, let's see. Let's scroll on down here. Evan Ingram, the best tight end available here. Hunter Henry. Will Hunter Henry sign back with the LA Chargers? He is also a free agent in this offseason. Now, right here, I would personally, if this was my real draft, I'm going to do what I would do in the real fucking draft. We're going to get our flex here, and we are going to select a running back here. And we are going to go with my boy, James Conner. Now, I know I stated he's a glass cannon. He is. But when he's out there, he's going to be balling. And in the 5th round, the value for James Conner here is too real for me. I don't really believe in Robert Woods. I'm not a Robert Woods truther. I was last year. I don't really believe in him. I think he gets his ass shipped off. Depending on what team he lands on, he could be great. And so I'm going to go with James Conner here and then solidify my flex option here. After I selected Mr. James Conner. Oh, I did not mean to click that button. What a look here. After I selected James Conner, Calvin Ridley comes off the board, followed by Marlon Mack, Tyler Lockett. And obviously, guys, you may not actually be able to see the board here, so I'm going to move myself maybe over here to the left. Everything you need in a box to the left. I'll scroll down a little bit more so it's guaranteed that you guys can see correctly. So after my pick, I went James Conner and then Calvin Ridley, Marlon Mack, Tyler Lockett, Robert Woods, Evan Ingram, and then a quarterback run to Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, and Russell Wilson. Personally, that guy was smoking some big doinks who selected Kyler Murray over Russell Wilson. After the year Russell Wilson had, that is some disrespect right there. Probably Dak I would like more than him as well, and I would have just waited at that point over those guys. If I didn't have Pat Mahomes here, I would just fucking wait 8 years and then select Jameis Winston or Josh Allen, someone like that. So we have 3 running backs, we have our quarterback, we have no tight end, and we don't have our set. We have pretty much our whole roster. We got 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, a wide receiver, and a flex. So we need a wide receiver, a tight end, defense, and a kicker. But guys, you all know you wait for the defense and the kicker. So we're going to be selecting here probably the best available player, which is likely going to be a wide receiver because this tier of Phillip Lindsay and James White just does not tickle my goddamn fancy. Right here, we've got, let's see, DK Metcalf or Jarvis Landry, Debo, John Brown. If I'm being honest with you guys here, I think I would select Debo over any of these guys. I like DK Metcalf, but I think that Debo Samuel is going to be able to play big next year. Jarvis Landry is obviously a guy that I do like as a player. He is one of my favorite players in the NFL, but I am not sure that the Cleveland Browns offense is going to look super hot this year. Obviously, they're going to be very undervalued. Odell Beckham, what will he do this year? Will he get his ass traded like he wants? So we're going to go with Debo Samuel here. I believe that he puts on a clinic in, maybe not in the Super Bowl, but I think he's been putting on a clinic. I think that next year he is going to be quite good. So as we look at the draft board here, after we selected Debo Samuel, Jarvis Landry was selected, followed by the W Eater, famous Jameis Winston, followed by his tight end O.J. Howard, Phillip Lindsay, Raheem Mostert, Dak Prescott, Tyler, Boyd, DK Metcalf, Christian Kirk, Josh Allen, Matty Ice, Drew Brees, John Brown, and then Carson Wentz. So right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 quarterbacks have been selected, so one team does not have a quarterback selected thus far, and it is what team? Let's see. We're looking for the team without the green. It is this team here, so we'll see if they decide to hop on board and select a quarterback here, guys. As you guys should know, in a 12-team league, you don't really have to draft a backup quarterback, and if you do, you should wait really long. If you're in a 10-team league, no need. An 8-team league, no need. In a 14-team league, you probably need 2 quarterbacks. I would very much advise drafting 2 quarterbacks in that situation. So right here, as we look, the running backs are kind of deflated here. At the wide receiver position, we got Michael Gallup, Marquise Brown as the best available. And at the tight end position, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys have already gone. Hunter Henry still available, and that is who I am going to select here in the 7th round. I believe the value is unreal on Hunter Henry if he stays this year. I think they're going to bring in a quarterback that could throw the ball to Mike Williams. Obviously, Phillip Rivers is out there, but I like Mike Williams here, and I'm going to select him here with my 7th. Not Mike Williams, Hunter Henry. I'm going to select with my 7th round pick. Let's hope that the LA Chargers sign him back with a nice contract. After we selected Hunter Henry, James White went, followed by Michael Gallup, Kareem Hunt, Matty Snapback, Antonio Brown, Devontae Freeman, Marquise Brown, Damian Williams. Now, let's break down a few of these picks here. Obviously, this video's been going for like 20 minutes. If you're still here, fucking type in, I'm eating some popcorn right now. Type that in the comments. I'll remember. That's what you're doing. So James White, a guy I would have liked to have in the next round, went. Michael Gallup, a solid pick here. Kareem Hunt now. Guys, Kareem Hunt, he got in some trouble with the law, with the popo a couple of days ago now. Kareem Hunt, if you can stay out of trouble and you get your ass out of Cleveland and you go somewhere else, I like you. But you got to make sure you can stay out of trouble, my man, Kareem Hunt. I hope that you're okay, my man. I do. Same thing with Flash Gordon. Same thing with Antonio Brown, who was selected 2 picks later. AB, that is a guy that clearly there might be something wrong with him. Clearly there's something wrong with him. Clearly he needs to get help. And if he gets help, I would welcome him back into the NFL myself. A lot of people call him Antonio Clown. I gave him Clown of the Year award. He was a fucking clown. But at the end of the day, he's a great football player. In the 8th round, you're selecting Antonio Brown, who's not a team. You're fucking so stupid. You are drop dead dumb. Matt Stafford pick before that. I like Matt Stafford. Okay, so now it is our pick. Now, we currently have our whole squad picked out. Now, typically I don't really do that, but I liked the value on Hunter Henry there, so we're going to build our running back core. The rest we'll throw out the fucking window. The wide receivers you can find on the goddamn waiver wire to start pretty much any single week. So you just got to draft a bunch of running backs here in a row that I think will be able to do something. Now, this is going to be a tough decision here because do I really want to draft Darius Geis? Do I really want to hop on board with a man who is injury prone as fuck? Everyone knows that about Darius Geis. That man gets hurt, like I said, just like AJ Green. He's going to lace up his fucking cleats on Sunday and his leg's broken. That's just the type of guy Darius Geis is. Can I take the risk of drafting James Conner and Darius Geis on the same team? That is the real question, because guys like Ronald Jones I don't like at all. Tariq Cohen, David Johnson could get shipped off to a great situation. Don't like Carlos Hyde. Sony Michel is a waste man. So there's really nothing here. So I think I would honestly take the risk here and draft Darius Geis. And hope he could stay healthy, because we saw when he's healthy, he's a beast. So let's hope he could stay healthy here. And we're going to go with Darius Geis here. After we selected Darius Geis, let's see. After we went Darius Geis, Mike Williams comes off the board, followed by Mike Williams, Anthony Miller, Preston Williams, Carlos Hyde, David Johnson, Alshon Jeffrey, Ronald Jones, Sterling Shepard, Will Fuller, Tariq Cohen, Duke Johnson, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, Darius Slayton. Will Robbie Anderson get the bag from the Jets? That's a question. Will David Johnson get shipped to Tampa Bay? Because if he does, I think I like him next year at this discount. I think David Johnson is still a good running back. I think they just said, fuck it, man. David Johnson has been getting hurt. Let's just get our value for him, sit him down. Let's play Kenyon Drake, and we'll ship him off next year, and I think that's what's going to happen. So I do like his value this year. Right now, we currently have, in my opinion, what you're supposed to do in these drafts is you want to draft way more running backs than wide receivers. We have 4 running backs, 2 wide receivers. I think here we go another running back and then look at the wide receivers, unless there's a wide receiver here that is calling my name, Alejandro type of deal over here. And there actually might be here. I think I am going to actually go out here and select my main man, Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones is a guy that I like to select pretty much every year, the last couple of years, late in the draft. This is a guy that is going to be able to be catching a shit ton of passes when Matthew Stafford is healthy. He is a guy that might not be the number 1 on the team, but he is definitely a guy that is going to be getting a lot of looks and some looks in the red zone as well. So I like Marvin Jones here. That is who I'm going to select. Emmanuel Sanders. I already got Deebo Samuel, so I'm going to lock in Marvin Jones here for my pick. If you guys have enjoyed this video thus far, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. We're going to do a shit ton of mock drafts in the offseason. Last offseason, I did like 100 mock drafts probably. So we love mock drafts over here on the Notorious Fantasy channel. So after we selected Marvin Jones, bum-ass Sony Michel was selected, followed by Emmanuel Sanders, Jamal Williams, Jamison Crowder, Justin Jackson, Latavius Murray, Brandon Cooks, and Rashad Penny. So now it is our selection. We are going to load up on some running backs unless I like a wide receiver here, and we do not. We're going to load up on Rolls-Royce Freeman right here. I like Rolls-Royce Freeman. Now, obviously, a lot of people are going to have some shit to say. They might think Matt Breida might be the pick here. A lot of people may believe that. But in my opinion right here, the pick that I like is Royce Freeman. I think at the end of the day that him and Phillip Lindsay, eventually if Phillip Lindsay gets hurt, Royce Freeman is going to ride the train and prove how good he is. This year he played pretty good when given the opportunity, or last year I guess, he played pretty well when given the opportunity, and the year before as well. So I think that he is a guy that you're going to take a flyer on late in the draft. Could work out, could not work out, but it's okay because you can just cut his ass after a couple of weeks after he does nothing. And if you have Phillip Lindsay, I would definitely handcuff him with a guy like Rolls-Royce Freeman. And the fucking Denver Broncos are a team I believe is going to turn it around this year. Drew Horsecock Lock looks like a guy who can really turn it around this year. Now, not even turn it around because he played great last year, turned the organization around of the Denver Broncos. Now, after we selected Rolls-Royce Freeman, Tevin Coleman came off the board, followed by fast man Deshaun Jackson, Justice Hill, Deontay Johnson, Golden Tate, N'Keal Harry, a guy who may be able to be a beast this year, but I don't really believe in it because the wide receiver core of the Patriots is not very good, and Tom Brady is not really that good anymore, just so you guys know. Alexander Bassett comes off the board after that, followed by John Ross, Matt Breida, Jordan Howard, Tony Pollard, Noah Fant, D.D. Westbrook, and Brashad Perryman. Now, if I'm being honest with you guys, I almost wish I waited on quarterback here. I wonder what would have happened if I did wait on quarterback. Because, sure, I wouldn't have Pat Mahomes. But I could go with Aaron Rodgers. And then later in the draft, just draft someone else to play with Aaron Rodgers in that shit. When he's playing terrible, you just play someone else. Like Cam Newton, a guy who could get shipped off to another team like that. That's almost something I wish I did, but I did not do that. And Aaron Rodgers in the 11th round is fucking crazy, if I'm being honest with you guys. I don't love him. I don't think he's a guy that's going to potentially finish top 5. But in the 10th, 11th round, that is just amazing value. In the 11th round last year, you want to know who you were drafting? Lamar Jackson. You want to know who you were drafting? Josh Allen. You want to know who you were drafting? Fucking Dak Prescott. All guys that were top finishers at the position, so I like that pick there. I think I would take him there, but obviously we're not drafting 2 quarterbacks. We ain't crazy over here. We're not drafting 2 tight ends either, so we are going to attack the running back and wide receiver position heavily at the end of this draft. Okay. Sorry about that. Hopefully I edited that out. If not, I'm sorry because I'm just dumb and I probably forgot it. So we could go with, let's see, the running backs available. We got AP, Naheem Hines, Darrell Henderson, Chase Edmonds, Peyton Barber, Benny Snell Jr. Now, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to fuck around and give us a handcuff. Now, I know I'm not sure who the handcuff is for James Conner, if I'm being honest with you guys. It might be Benny Snell, it might be Jalen Samuels. I feel like it's Jalen Samuels, so that's who I'm going to select as of right now, unless they draft another running back. In the 11th round is a little early for a handcuff, but I'm going to make sure I get my handcuff for a guy that is so injury-prone, and Jalen Samuels, when he had to step in, played big. Same with Benny Snell, so I like Jalen Samuels here in the 11th round, especially since I have my boy James Conner. So after we selected Mr. Jalen Samuels, the worst wide receiver in the NFL, Corey fucking bum-ass Davis was selected, followed by Jared Cook, Sammy Watkins, Mike Likiamagasiki, Tyrell Williams, Naheem Hines, Adrian Peterson, and Will Dissly. So it is our pick now in the 12th round here, and we are going to go with yet another wide receiver here. Because we got a lot of running backs, not so many wide receivers. And we're going to actually go with the safety net, Cole Beasley. This is a pick that if I was in the 12th round of my real draft, I would have came in my fucking pants. Because at the end of the day, Cole Beasley is a safe motherfucker. Josh Allen's going to throw the ball to him a decent amount. I don't think that the Buffalo offense really needs a wide receiver. John Brown and Cole Beasley are very good. And I think that Cole Beasley will get it done yet again this year. And that is who I'm going to select in the 12th round. After I went with my boy Cole Beasley, Aaron Rodgers comes off the board, followed by Tyler Higbee, first defense of the Chicago Bears in the 12th round, followed by Cam Newton, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Dallas Goedert, Pittsburgh Steelers, Darrell Henderson, Travis Homer, San Francisco 49ers, TJ Hockengod, Benny Snell, Peyton Barber, and Boston Scott. So we're going to go with one last running back here. We're going to draft a shit ton of running backs like I advised, and we are going to go with the best available running back here. The best available, according to the website, is Chase Edmonds. We are also going to be looking at here Chris Thompson, Gus Bus Edwards, Giovanni Bernard, Deshaun Washington, Rex Burkhead, Dion Lewis, Malcolm Brown, Darwin Thompson, LaShawn McCoy, Rock Armstead, guys like that. I think I'm just going to take my handcuff yet again here. We're going to grab Giovanni Bernard here to handcuff Mr. Joe Mixon. That's our final bench pick, and then we're going to do our defense and kicker here. So obviously we are so far in the offseason that I'm not sure who I'm going to pick here. Or the offseason hasn't even begun because the Super Bowl still hasn't been played. Giovanni Bernard after we selected him, Baker the Faker Mayfield, Chase Edmonds, Jared Goff, Chris Thompson, a bunch of defenses. So the typical strategy for defenses, what you're going to do is you're going to just I'm going to show you what to do pretty much. So you just go on Google, you type in you just type in NFL schedule week 1, you find a defense playing against a shit offense, and that's the defense you're going to draft. So I'm going to go with the best available here, the Minnesota Vikings. That's not what I would do personally. And then for the kicker, Larry Fitzgerald, Old Man, Hunter Renfrow, Mecole Hardman, notable picks here. And now we're going to go for our kicker, and the way you pick a fucking kicker is roll the dice, you throw it up against the wall, and you pick Matt Prater. So the draft has concluded. We got a C+, but that's okay because draft grades don't mean shit. Our final team at the quarterback position, we got Patrick Mahomes. Our 2 starting running backs are Joe Mixon and Kenya Drake. Our 2 starting wideouts are Mike Evans and Deebo Samuel. Our starting tight end is Hunter Henry. Our flex is James Conner. Our defense is the Minnesota Vikings. Our kicker is Matt Prater. They don't fucking matter. Our bench is comprised of Darius Geis, Marvin Jones, Rolls-Royce Freeman, Jalen Samuels, Cole Beasley, as well as Giovanni Bernard. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, you ended up laughing, you ended up having a great time, make sure to click that subscribe button down below. I love each and every single one of you guys. Make sure to tell your loved ones you love them because the next day is never fucking promised. I love each and every single one of you guys. Have a blessed rest of your day and have a great Super Bowl Sunday. Goodbye, my friends.